Welcome to today's topic of money shame, the root and the healing. It's rather dark in here today, isn't it? Well, it is gray outside, and I normally rely on natural light. I kind of like it though. So that's today's topic, money shame, the root and the healing. And today I was supposed to be going live, first of all, with Adina. And second of all, on her Facebook wall. That was our tentative plan for last week. So then we decided we were going to go live here together on my YouTube channel and go live on her wall tomorrow. And she messaged me right as we were supposed to meet 15 minutes before showtime to, get ourselves together. And she sent me a message. Her dog has a tumor. So she took her dog into the vet today, and the dog had to get an emergency surgery, so she wasn't able to be here with us today. So Adina will not be here today. I will again communicating with my email community as I emailed you all a couple hours ago to get an update on when Adina and I will be going live on the body relation to this money shame thing, and also furthering the conversation that I started on Friday about oral on him for her pleasure. You want to join the email list to be updated. And also, good, I just remembered something. So there's a link beneath the videos here. Um, at the bottom of the More Than Enough page, you can send me your email if you're not already on the email community list. So let me get straight into this topic because I was really looking forward to Adina being here. Yeah, this topic is really good for a back and forth, and for me to ask her things, and vice versa, to have that ping pong effect and the natural wisdom that comes out of that ping pong conversation when it's public. So let's get into this money shame, the root and the healing. Hello, Facebook. Money shame, the root and the healing. So I'm going to talk about this. I have some notes here. I'm going to talk about this with the thought that you're going to be able to leave here and then go take some action based on this video. Okay. For those of you who may be here for the first time, I am a former business coach. I came into the industry like so many people do, just strictly wanting to help people. I didn't even know it was an industry in early 2011. That's when I found out that the coaching industry existed and came into the industry, not even thinking, not knowing anything about a money story or that we all have a relationship with money, or all I thought was enough to be successful in coaching was to just want to help people. And so, like most coaches do, I struggled. But unlike most coaches who quit or who hang out at the hourly fee, or who just hang out in the constant financial struggle of having a consistently, a thriving coaching business, okay, where there's recurring revenue, good money, etc. I was persistent. I was just so hungry to understand, like when I realized that it was a thing, like how does this work really? Um, how does this money, right? And then you may be able to relate to this. I always felt like I was meant to be rich. I always felt like I was meant to be well taken care of. I've always felt um, important, and I've always seen other people as important. And that's a whole other conversation about what part of my drive has been in being what I've called helpers of humans. So I have another conversation going on in the background. So pardon me as I'm uh, that's running as I'm here with you. So I'd like for you to, for a moment, put to the side everything you've ever heard about money healing, cutting cords, affirmations, a lot of the stuff that we hear that you may or may not have heard. uh, as it relates to transforming one's relationship with money. You can pick it back up after you finish watching this today, but I'd like for you to um, just drop it for a little while and just really bring this home to you. Okay. Let's really look at you. Okay. I want you to really look at how you really feel. Okay. I want you to look at, and I want you to do this later. Like, obviously, there's so much you can do because you're here now and your intention is divided by watching me. But later, as I said, I like you to, I'm speaking about this in a way that I imagine you'll walk away from here and be able to take some action. Um, when you go away and you sit down, and you want to first sit and look at what's driving you. Like, why does this money shame thing even matter? Because the drive of it is where you want to start, not just, otherwise it's like uh putting trying to eat good food when you're full of parasites and you're sick. So when it comes to transforming your relationship with money and going from hourly or struggle or sitting in the angst of wanting more, feeling like you deserve more, seeing other coaches who you don't know for sure, but they seem to be easily securing, $5,000 packages or whatever the fee is. And somehow that feels so far removed from you, or it feels unrealistic or greedy, or, oh, we're in a recession, or who's going to pay for that, or I can't even afford that, or whatever the story is you tell yourself. Before you start attacking that stuff, the mental chatter of that, you want to start with what's even driving you. Let's look at what's in your system already. Like, what's moving you to like watch this whole video? What's moving you? What, why? Here's why. When the motive is external, meaning like I want to do it because she's doing it, or I want to do it because um I want to prove to my mom that this isn't some frivolous business scheme, or you know, something else that's outside of you. So that's why you got to answer this for yourself. Um the game is, you're not going to enjoy the game. You're not going to last. I mean, like if your goal is to just get one $10,000 client and ta-da, that's enough, right? Then okay, fine. It doesn't matter. Do it how. If your goal is to get to a place where you can do recurring, even if it's just $3,500 a month, recurring, predictable. You know how to. You don't struggle with that at all. Like, like you could even do more, but you don't care about more. You're just cool with $3,500 a month. So you want to start there. Well, what's the real motive for, okay, okay, let's say you've reconciled that. Now you're like, well, no, I want to do it because I know that the work that I do transforms lives. I've been a coach for 3 years. I've been a coach for 7 years. I've been a coach for a year. I've been a coach, and I've given away so much. My clients have gotten so many results, and still I'm around here charging $100 an hour, you know, or whatever you're charging. And you just deeply personally are like, I should have more. I want more. I deserve more. Now is the time for more, right? Then you can go on to whatever the thoughts are that we all have. Like, who's really going to pay that? And how do I know what to charge? And fill in the blank, right? So when you go away and you do this work in solitude, and so just, or give yourself time to sit down, write it out. I actually kind of feel like I'm in a course right now as I'm talking. So, so you want to do that. You want to get yourself, okay, a notepad, something good that you can use and have to go to all the time. Don't have a raggedy thing. And organize quiet time to sit down and look at, write out, what are the thoughts? Start there. What are the thoughts? Who's going to pay for that? Do I deserve that? Are people going to feel like they own me? I'm concerned about people feeling like they own me because they paid me $5,000 or $1,000 or 2,000, I'm worried people are going to think I'm greedy. Oh, then if I start having money, what kind of responsibility is that going to put on me? Are they going to even get a return? Like, what, can I really help people at that level? What if they don't get results? Like, these are the common, right? If you've been in the game, you probably felt some of these, right? Can I really do this? Will I look greedy? Who's going to pay that? Oh, it's a recession. Oh, I shouldn't charge that. I can't even afford that. Who am I to charge $1,000 when I can't even charge $1,000? That's police and other people's wallets. Don't do it. Okay. So, all right, you want to write all that down. You want to exhaust it. Like, what's stopping you? You want to exhaust that. Okay. And then what you want to do, and here is where I said earlier, I want you to forget about everything that you've done about around, cutting cords. People have done the cutting cords things. All the work that you may have already done around money shame and all the things. Okay. What I have come to know as a woman, and probably should have said this earlier too. I crossed the seven-figure mark well, first I crossed the multiple six-figure mark in when was this? 2015? Yes, 2015. Now you need to understand. I'm only saying this so you can know if you're new here, because if you've been around, you already know. I'm sharing this with you so you can understand it. Like, I know what I'm talking about. And I've helped a lot of people do this money part. Okay. And once you get it, you realize it's amazing and it's not even about the money. Okay. So I came into coaching in 2011. I wanted to help people like everybody else. Didn't know about the whole money thing. Struggled to make money, struggled to pay bills. I was like typical coaches on the internet today who are putting out content, doing $100 an hour sessions, blah, blah. Okay. And I fought to get to where I am, to where I've gotten over the years. It was a fight. It was a persistent fight, persistent pushing, and trying other people's methods because, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So as I was on this money quest, that's how I found out about Gina DeVee. Some of you may know him. That's how I found out about Sacred Success, A Course in Financial Miracles. That's how I found out about Monica Shah, who's a money coach. That's how I came across Suzanne Evans. That's how I came across Fabian Fredrickson. Like, when you're really hunting and you're really looking to grow, right? For those of you who have transformed other things, resources show up, the answers present themselves, and you have your opportunity to walk through the door. And so I've walked through countless doors that felt terrifying to get to financial sovereignty and comfort with not even money, but the intimacy that's required for money. Clue, ding, 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 ding. The intimacy. This is about intimacy. This is not about money is the root of all evil and capitalism. And this is not that. This is about intimacy with self. All right, let me back it up. So I struggled and it got really bad for me. Like, I fell into a really bad depression. And I've talked about this for years. And so I did all kinds of things to try. I learned about money story, blah, blah, blah. Eventually ended up on my mother's couch, $7 to my name. I've told this story countless times. And it was in that dark place that I really came to learn about the shit that's in your shadow is controlling your whole fucking life. Regardless of how good your skin is and how beautiful you are and articulate you are and educated you are and how much good of a mom you are and whatever's going on in your shadow is running your shit. Okay. So and then I also the intimacy, this is where I started to really understand the intimacy of every with yourself starts to touch everything in your outer world. So and then this is also how I came out as a sex shame healer, because it was something that was just the fabric of my being that I never even thought to make money with. And so there's many stories included in this money shame dynamic for me, and it will be for you, for those of you who choose to go on the journey of truly transforming your relationship. I mean, truly, beyond just a few clients, you get to get your itch scratched, but you don't go much further beyond that. Okay. Um, then, continued on after coming out as a master sex shame healer, went to six figures, multiple six figures, very fast. I mean, I'm telling you, when you do this work that I'm talking about in a dedicated way, it's a guarantee. It's not hopefully optionally. Okay. It's like, you want to bake a cake? Well, your grandmother's cake recipe, she gave it to you. It works. You just got to do it. And you got to do it now. With a cake, there's precision that's required, right? With flour and shit. So it's not to that level because it's personal to you. But there are ingredients that matter. And one of those key ingredients is intimacy with yourself and telling the fucking truth. Okay? Telling the fucking truth with yourself. All right. Then continued on and you know, went into circles that most of us don't go, like with white women who are killing it. Okay. We constantly, and I was at another time too, like right now it's a lot of business coaches as black that's now available for black women, but there were not a lot of black business coaches in 2014 and 2015. But that was my journey. Your journey is going to be difficult, just different, you see. And humbling your fucking ego. Okay. I'm so sick. I just, and I say this from a place of love. I'm just, girl. Anyway, I'll leave that right there. So, all right. So, to think about money, when you think about how, I want you to imagine yourself for a moment. Imagine this, okay? You're doing TikToks or whatever content you're putting out about your services, okay? And somebody DMs you and they say, I just saw the video you did, the IG live you did, or I just saw your TikTok, I just saw your whatever about your life coaching services, helping, single moms, you know, increase their self-esteem, right? I'm just making this up, but whatever your topic is, right? Let's say somebody DMs you about it, right? And how are you going to handle that? Just you as you are today. Yeah, you're gonna see how this comes into intimacy with self. How would you handle that today? Let's say somebody saw, maybe you did a video 6 months ago and somebody came along and saw it on your wall. Or maybe you have a small email list and you sent out an email offering your services and somebody replied to your email saying, hey, I just got your email. I'm curious about this. Or do you help with this? Or how does it work? Or how much does it cost? Or right. How are you going to respond to that? How do you feel about them even inquiring when they ask you the price? Do you send them the price? If they ask you a question that makes you feel like, if they say something like, I saw, I'm checking out two other life coaches who do something similar to you, and I'm just trying to decide which one I should go with. How would you feel about that? If they said, you said something and I'm just wondering, and like how you heard it sounds like they're saying you don't know what you're talking about. Or let's take it here. Let's say you schedule to get on a call with them, whatever you call what you're doing, a strategy session, whatnot. Let's say you schedule to have a 30-minute call with them and y'all get on the phone and they're late. First, they're late, right? And then they get on the phone and you say, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, Good. How you doing?" And then you like, "Okay, so how can I help you? What's going on?" And she says, "How much is this again?" How do you feel about that? How do you handle that? This is all all this is happening before we even get to the money. I need you to understand how this money thing works. It is not about just merely getting a credit card number and delivering services. Okay. Now, these are just some examples that I just gave. You can fill in the blank with some of the things that you've dealt with. The examples and the stories are endless, right? But how much have you thought? Like, this is the intimacy that's going to be required, right? And then where I'm going to go very soon here is your relationship with money. I'm going to go there very soon. Your relationship, like, how was that formed? The root of the formation of your relationship with money. Okay, that's where we're getting ready to go. This is to begin to get you to understand the level of intimacy that's required for you to serve others. Okay, any person who's going to pay you, any person, man or woman, young or old, in the service field, okay, particularly in the transformation space, okay, we're talking about transformation here, okay, so that could be life coach, healer, medicine woman, shaman, psychic, you know, transformational leader, transformational speaker, coach of any kind. There's so many different coaches, right? CEO coach, parenting coach, love coach, relationship coach, teenage coach, coach for women over 40, coach for menopausal women, coach for senior citizens, coach for divorcees, coach for couples, coach for, right? All of that is transformational work. All of those. Coach for, folks with schizophrenia, coach for bipolar folks, coach, all of that is transformational work. Okay. Anybody who's going to work with you in that domain before you even get to the money was controlling the whole show. What is, the strings that make the whole show work well together is your ability to be intimate with the process. So intimate with your experience, your personal experience inside of the process, your willingness to be intimate with the other person inside the process, your willingness to be intimate with all the details of the process, them asking you questions, them having feelings that give you feelings, you having feelings about the requests, you having feelings about your mood and your personal life that day and how that's affecting the process, you having feelings inside of a session, them saying something that has nothing to do with you, but it triggers you. You having feelings about the payment process. You having feelings about this is your first time having $1,000 client and this feels lethargic and I feel greedy. And she already told me she's a single mother and I feel kind of bad about that. And what about, I remember when it was like to be a single mother and all that. And you don't like to feel that. You don't want the intimacy of feeling that. So you pull back from that intimacy, which affects the process. It affects the relationship. See? So this is not about money. This is about your willingness to be intimate with the process of serving your clients. This is about your willingness to be intimate with your feelings. This is about your willingness to be intimate with somebody else's feelings. This is about your willingness to be intimate with all the things that you currently don't like to feel, don't want to feel, don't feel good. Therefore, your willingness to transform your own self at the deepest emotional levels that affect you is where your financial success lies. Okay. Now, let's get into this money story and how I'm going to give you an example of how your relationship with money. I'm going to give you a homework assignment. It works. It's actually inside of a course. So let me share the course now. Underneath these videos here, Facebook, YouTube, there is a link. The link, one link. So there's 2 books and a link. The link is to my More Than Enough Money course. You can go click that and look at the details, and you can buy the course. It's 8 modules. Inside of module 1, we go into this exercise I'm getting ready to give you here and now. Okay. There's a powerful exercise. This is an exercise that I did at mostly the early stages of me transforming my relationship with money. I found out about this exercise through a money coach. Well, she was a money coach at the time. She's something else now, but her name is Monica Shaw. She looks like she might be like, I don't know, Indian or something, but her name is Monica Shaw. And she gave us this exercise, which, as I'm remembering it, because maybe it's different or maybe she did it different, right? But the way I look at it is it's helping you go down to when you first began to develop a relationship with value and your worth. Okay. Part of your relationship with money is about value, like the value of you, the innate value of you, the value of what you're doing, and how you view, and money just being a representation of that, of how you value yourself and how you value the transformation that you are offering your client, prospective client. Okay. So this is how the exercise works. Again, this exercise, along with support, detailed support, like it's an audio course and it's 8 modules. The link is with this video and it's broken down even more there. Okay. So, but let me give it to you here now. You can write it down and do it later today or tomorrow in the notebook, like I suggest that you do. If you are serious about going from wherever is your financial reality now in your coaching business, transformational business, into shit, wherever you want to go, 7 figures if you want. So you want to go to the very first time that you have negative experiences with having what you want. Okay. So I'll use myself as an example. When I did this assignment, the memory that I was able to go back the furthest to track, because you got to track this, you got to sit down and think about this. The first memory that I could remember was my mom constantly being like, I'm not paying that kind of money for that. Okay. Hi, Tay. I'm curious your question. What would be the proper way to respond? Tell me what you're referring to. I think you're referring to one of the questions, something I mentioned earlier with the, DM stuff. So tell me what proper way to respond to what. So she would always say, I'm not paying that kind of money for that. When I was a kid, that's what my mom, I'm not paying that kind of money for that. I'm not paying that kind of money for that. I'm not paying that kind of money for that. And that was I'm not paying that kind of money for that. I'm not paying that kind of money for that. Now, our parents aren't aware that they're programming us when they're doing this. They're just telling us what it is, right? Uh, you know, Younger or modern parents are doing things differently because so much education is now out there. But for those of us over 40, most of our parents weren't realizing how they were programming us. Okay. So this was I'm not, and so you need to do this with yourself. Go back and track where you have charge, emotional memory around where you were told we can't afford it, you can't have that, you don't deserve that, no, right? And you have a kind of, something in you that feels like a negative memory around it, or a tightness around it, or a resistance around it. So this is personal to you, okay? And you want to look for, so this is how I'm remembering it for myself, the thing that had this, I was able to like dig it, because you're digging for the root of where you made it true inside of your body. This is where the body comes into play. You made it true inside of your being, inside of your deep thought, your deep thought, the deep thought that's having you live your life how you live now, the deep thought that's having you talk about money the way you do now, your deep thought around what you allow yourself to have and not have right now, your deep thought around looking at other people have things that you wish that you had, your deep thought around how you decide what's expensive, what's cheap, what's worth a lot of money, what they don't deserve, what you deserve. Like, you got to dig. That's why the title of this video is called Money Shame, the Root and the Healing. Because if you don't go to the root, you're going to sit up here and do shit like, I'm cutting money cords, I'm going to say these affirmations, I'm going to, right? And those things are great. They're like a shower that you got to keep gotta keep taking a shower, right? You gotta keep saying affirmations. You gotta brush your teeth every day. You can't brush your teeth one time and then you're done. You gotta keep the same thing with this root. Once you go down to the root, you in this domain, you don't have to go down there again because you get down in to find out what's making this tree live like this. You are the tree. Okay. Your deep unconscious is the root. Okay. So then what I found when I did this exercise was, and I've had so many clients do this, right? And it's amazing how some clients pop like that and some clients got to dig more. So that's why you got to go do this and you got to be committed, right? And that's another reason why I told you in the beginning that you need to really look at what's your motivator here. Because if it's an external motivator, there's a way that you won't fight for it. Okay. There's a way that you won't persevere when the answer doesn't come easy or it doesn't feel good or you don't reach a goal you thought you were going to reach and you don't, you're upset. Right? Anyway, so my mom would say, I'm not paying that kind of money for that kind of, but as a child, children are resilient. You tell them no, but why? You tell them no, but please, you're telling no. What about this? Tell your parent tell no, right? Children push, blah, blah, blah. And I remember there was one particular time where I really, really wanted these shoes that the 357 girls. MC Hammer, who was hot at the time. Here goes the hammer. Remember that? And I'm from the Bay Area. And Hammer is in Oakland. So he was that, right? And he had his 357 dancers. Y'all remember that? They was the ones who made the holy jeans hot. But all the holy jeans, remember? Like jeans all over, right? It was like, oh! And they used to have these patent leather shoes with the pointy toe and the satin ribbon. And girl, I used to come home or I used to go to my auntie house and like he was hot. Like all black people was bopping MC Hammer. And we used to go to my auntie house and my auntie used to wear the holy jeans, but my mom was not letting me wear the holy jeans. Girl, my auntie used to be doing the dances, girl, like it was fun. It was like a ritual. It was fun. Whoa, whoa. So anyway, I was like, Ma, I gotta get these shoes. I gotta get these shoes. I gotta get these shoes. And I was on my way to the 6th grade. And you going to middle school, girl, okay? And it was already a thing in my home to dress well. Like that was very much the standard in my home. We dressed well. And so you going from elementary school, we going all the way. We going all the way, okay? And so I'm like, Mama, we gotta get these shoes. We gotta get these 357 shoes. And this is where I say you gotta get into the like the emotional charge. When you dig for the memory, which is intimacy that's required, you got to dig for the emotional charge where when you think about it, you cry. When you think about it, anger comes up. And see, a lot of us don't want to feel these feelings, so we don't dig. We don't really want to know. We don't really want to do the work, which means you're never going to get to the money that you deserve. Or you don't deserve shit. You deserve what you allow yourself to have. Okay. So you got to get intimate to find the charge within yourself where you accepted that you deserve less because somewhere you accepted it. Children are not expecting, they want all of it. They want all of it now. They don't deserve it. They want all of it now. That's how we all are before we accept as true from a parent, guardian, someone else that we deserve less. Okay. So my mom had always been saying, I'm not paying that kind of money for that. And I would push. Push. Now here I was in this heightened state of desire, super heightened state of desire. Mom, I gotta get these shoes. I'm going to 6th grade. Oh my God, I gotta get these 3 times. So my mom takes me to go get the shoes. We go to get the shoes, and as we're standing there are the knockoff version of these 357 girl shoes, and there's the original version. So you can guess what my mother said to me. I'm not paying that kind of money for those shoes. You can get those shoes, but I'm not paying that kind of money for those shoes. Now, here I am, about 11 at the time, going to the sixth grade. I'm about 11 years old. I'm not paying that kind of money for those shoes. You can have those shoes, but I'm not paying that kind of money for those shoes. Okay. And she held her ground. I'm not paying that kind of money for those shoes. If you want the shoes, you got to get the knockoff shoes. Now, here I am in this high place of desire. I really want these shoes to go to the sixth grade. Oh, I want these shoes so bad. I want to get these shoes. But I don't want the knockoff shoes. I want the full blown, full price, the real ones. In that moment, because I wanted the shoes so bad, I accepted not only the shoes, but the belief that if you really want something, you cannot have the thing you really want. You can only have the second version of what you want. You can only have the knockoff of what you want. I accepted as true that I cannot have what I really want. I can only have the knockoff version, a reduced version, or I cannot have what I actually want. Now, my mom continued with this. I'm not paying that kind of money for that. I'm not paying that kind of money for that. So then here I go, right? Because up to then I had not been accepting it. No, mom, I want this. No, mom, I want this. No, mom, I want this. Because that's how you actually are. You expect that you deserve to have it all. You expect that it's yours. This is yours. Everything is yours. If you want it, is yours. Then I accepted deep in my thought, I accepted it. Where did you accept it in yourself? You got to dig this. So I can't have what I actually want. Then also, what becomes true in that is now these full price shoes are here. I see that they're here. Obviously, somebody's buying them. So another thing story that I told myself that I didn't even know. This is why it's so important that you do this homework assignment. It's the reason why it's in module 1 of the More Than Enough course. It's why it's in module 1. Because if you don't know what's running your show, if you think it's just about cutting cords and doing affirmations and having doing money spells and putting up dollar signs on the wall for the symbology, and that if you walk by it every day, it's going to magically transform your unconscious, and that you're going to have your money oil, and you're going to do your salt rituals, and you're going to go, and that somehow you're going to miraculously start closing $1,000 clients, $5,000, $10,000 clients regularly. No. I mean, you can go try, you do whatever you want. Shit. Okay. I'm just telling you, as within, so without. This is, a classic alchemical axiom. As within, so without. So another story that I created, I'm telling you this story so you can start to see that you have control over digging inside of yourself. So another story that I didn't know I created until I did this assignment that I'm suggesting you do, as I created the story that other people can have what they want, because these shoes are here, these full price shoes, somebody's buying them. So see, them other people who buying these full price shoes, see, they can have them, but I can't have them. That's what my 11-year-old mind did. See, what you say, nah, you got to put that real soul healing work in. It hurts sometimes because you have to take accountability. You're correct, Tay. Thank you. Tay, you on fire in the comments. Hey, girl. My mom was like, you not cutting up all your good genes. So other people can have what they want, but I can't have what I want. So let me tell you what that started to look like then as I got older. This is what I mean by as within. Whatever you're playing out right now in your financial world, you were programmed that way. So you can go in and undo that programming and get down into what is your real desire. So this is what it started to look like when I started to make my own money. I had my first job at 14, but when I really started to become, right before I got married. I got married at 21, in my early 20s. So I'd say when I was like between 18 and shit until realized I had a money story. When I would go into a clothing store or anywhere where there were things to buy that I wanted, mainly clothing stores, because that's my thing: fashion, jewelry, accessories, shoes, etc. Okay, you walk into your store, whatever's your favorite store, right? And they got all the newer, full priced merchandise in the front, and all the sales stuff is where? All the way in the back, right? And remember, my programming is you can't have what you actually want. You can have the sale stuff, you can have the knockoff stuff, but you cannot have what you actually want. So this is how you start to act out unconscious programming and don't even know you're doing it. When I at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 years old, whenever I would walk into a clothing store that I love. So at the time I loved Limited. I loved Express. I loved Banana Republic. I loved The Gap. I loved Aldo. I loved Nordstrom. I loved, right? So I would go into Banana Republic and I wouldn't even look at the front of the store. Or I would glance. I would walk into the store and automatically walk back to the sale rack. This is how you program your kids to have less than what they actually want. As I got older and called myself wanting more, right? Not being aware that my deeper thoughts were programming my movement and how I was deciding about stuff. It got to the point where I wouldn't even give too much attention to higher price things on the food menu. I wouldn't even like if anything looked like it costs money without even knowing what the price is. You don't even know the goddamn price. But if it look like it's expensive, if it look like it costs money, you don't even look at it. That's not even normal. That's sick. That is scarcity consciousness at play. It's scarcity consciousness at play. So to overcome this, the only way you're gonna overcome it is you go deep inside what's going on in your unconscious mind. So you're gonna sit down and do this assignment. You're gonna look at, first of all, why does this matter to me? Transforming my relationship with money, being honest about that. And so I told you earlier, being super honest with yourself. A lot of people don't even know how to tell the truth to themselves. One, get honest with yourself. Number two, so we're writing this down. Okay. Number two, what's stopping me now? Like what do I notice are my patterns, right? And that's your conscious mind if you can even notice it, because some things you don't notice yet. But whatever you notice, like what's stopping me? Well, I feel like I don't deserve it. Oh, I love to I notice myself in a pattern of feast or famine where you get some money and then you spend it all and you don't know when because I went through that. When I first started making money in coaching, I would do the feast or famine thing. I didn't even know I was in this sick ass scarcity cycle where I would get a client, have money, and I would hurry up and pay all my bills and do all these things and go out to eat and do all of these things and then not have no money. And it was like I just expected it to be like that. Like I would get a client or two, make some money, then pay everything. Let me hurry up and pay this because I don't know when I have some money again. Let me do this because I don't know when I'm gonna have some money again, right? And then be with no money, like, when am I gonna have money again? I hope, God, how much, what's due? You start looking at what's due, when it's due, then the stress of that gets you back into doing what you're supposed. Feast, famine, feast, famine, feast, famine, feast, famine. So you write that down because I'm tired of this feast or famine cycle, because I want to send my son to college in South Africa, because I want to go study French in Paris, because I want to take my mother to Hawaii for a week, because my mom is, diabetic, but she too lazy to prepare her own food. So I would love to hire somebody to prepare my mom's food, in bulk once a week. Because I want to do the same for myself, because I'm ready to, transform my body, or I want to go get a procedure done in Colombia, and that's going to cost $3,000 because I'm sick and tired of the struggle. I'm sick and tired of not having what I want. Right. And you write that all down. so that you see what your motive is. This is why I'm transforming my relationship with money. This is why I'm getting intimate with my emotions, because it is right here. Okay. So then once you do that, then you do this story that I just mentioned. Okay. In conjunction with the story, and I just told you how to do it. Okay. And I go into deeper detail about how to do the story inside of the course, the More Than Enough course. The link is with this video to buy the course. Okay. Two books that are going to help you greatly. The name of the books are beneath this video, so you can go look at it later. The first book is this one that I have been recommending, like, I don't know, for 3 weeks or so. Into the Heart of the Feminine. Okay. The title is beneath the video, so you don't have to remember it. Um, I, I'm not going to go this deep. Like, so that's one. Number two is Sacred Success, A Course in Financial Miracles. Sacred Success, A Course in Financial Miracles. The woman who wrote that book is the daughter of one of the founders of H&R Block. The author of the book, Sacred Success, A Course in Financial Miracles, is the daughter of one of the founders of H&R Block, the tax company. She's an heiress. She had all this money that she lost because she was not in power with money. And she talks about the story in this book of a man who she got with, her husband, who she gave all her, because she wasn't in power, because she was not financially literate, but mainly power. This book is not about, because she even says in the book that in all her research, because she did a lot after she lost all this money and climbed her way up out of depression, like so many of us do, right? We hit a sort of rock bottom, and she started to do this research with other women, herself, women who were, good with money, women who were not good with money, etc. She talked about what she discovered in her research is that women becoming financially successful has far less to do with the fundamentals of finance, like working numbers and understanding investments and all that. She said it has far less to do with the fundamentals of finance and more so the fear of power. Hmm? Hence the intimacy with relationships that I talked about here, telling the truth about who you are and how you've been impacted, and everything that I've been talking about and teaching about and coaching about and transforming, helping folks transform for 11 damn years. Okay. So those two books I recommend you read in conjunction with doing this homework assignment and going to, really, for the next year. You really need to dedicate for the next year. I mean, like, to really get at this in a strong way where, yeah. And I mean, most people don't make any significant progress outside of a structured group of accountability. The statistics show that anywhere between 1 and 4% of people complete at home do it yourself courses. 1 to 3% of people complete it. And why they don't complete it is because where there's no accountability, most people don't finish things. And it's not because, well, Suzanne Evans, one of my former coaches, says because people are lazy. Well, what it is just the way the brain works. I'm looking at the time. I'm leaving in about 30-ish minutes. Um, just the way the brain works, where when you have somebody that you are accountable to, which is why coaching programs, group coaching programs, can be such a success. Having a coach you got to report to every week or once or whatever the deal is, helps you finish, because most people, while they have good intent, they mean well, they want the results. Most of us have such busy lives and our minds are all over the place that we have a hard time staying focused on an area without accountability. So um, I recommend that you buy the course, the More Than Enough Money course. That is, it's amazing how, yeah, I recommend you get the More Than Enough Money course. I recommend all this, everything that I'm talking about here. I recommend you do it. Now, here's the next step. So, step one, get clear about why. Why this is important to you. Number two, write out all the thoughts right now that keep you in what you would say is, bad relationship with money, or Your feelings about money, your thoughts about money. Is it the root of all evil? You feel like, billionaires are stealing the planet. You you don't feel like it's showing off if you talk about your money? Do you feel like, rich people exploit the poor? Do you feel like you don't deserve it because, fill in the blank? Do you feel like, if you start having money, your family gonna think you're an ATM? You don't want to the responsibility of managing money and shit. If I have less, then I have less to work with, and my headaches is less. I'm stressed. I don't feel like, you know what I mean. Write it all down. Exhaust that page of everything you feel and think about money. And when I say exhausted, I mean exhausted. Soon as you think you done, say no way. Hold on. Okay, this is what I mean by exhaust. Really dig up in there. And you want to look when you're doing this work, ladies. You want to look at where you have emotion around it, where you feel like you want to not do it, where you're like, oh God, something that make you roll your eyes. Like the video. It's something that make you feel like this is stupid. Something that make you feel like, you know, ooh, no, I don't want to deal with that, or something that make you feel remind you of something you used to be angry at with your mom, or something that make you, remind you of, why you chose to cut yourself off. That's where you want to go. The intimacy with money, and the transformation that you're looking for happens in intimacy. Okay, there's that. So those are some really key points that I share with you. What you want to do, because this next thing I'm getting ready to suggest that you do is difficult to do in a real way when you are loaded with psychological parasites. So your list that I told you to exhaust about why you currently struggle with money, because I don't feel like it, because I seem like I always run out, because I don't know how to hold on to it. I'm afraid I'm gonna create this big old lifestyle and then I ain't gonna be able to keep up. That actually happened to me, where literally to keep my life going was $10,000 a month. And I was like, I'm sick and fucking tired of keeping up with this. And, or just the thought of like, what if I don't wanna work? And all my bills, my life to take care of me, to travel, everything is minimum $10,000 a month. Like, so obviously that's another level. But I want you to understand that once you dig down to the root, you can deal with it. You can see. You're like, oh God, okay, I see what's going on here. And right. So this is why you want to go down into the root first. So anyway, so I'm telling you all that to say is this next thing that I'm getting ready to tell you to do, you don't want to do it until you clean up your insides with what I've already told you to do. Okay. And this is the power again of getting the course, hiring a money coach, hire somebody. Okay. So next, what you want to do is you want to start looking at what's your real desires, your real ones. See, because if you do it when you're still psychologically full of parasites, you're going to do it from a pie in the sky kind of way. You're going to do it from a, well, she told me to do it. You're going to do it from a, uh, I'm doing it, but I don't really believe it. You know what I mean? Like, because you're still dirty inside. Okay. Still dirty inside. Once you clean up, you're going to feel better about money. You're going to understand more about why you have moved the way you've moved until now about money. You're going to feel more confident. Again, this is, I would say, you want to at least have read, you know, do this part intuitively, but I'm thinking you want to at least have read half of Sacred Success, A Course in Financial Miracles, at least half. Okay. But if you feel like you want to do it a little bit before that, a little bit after that, but the point is you want to be more confident and like from a place of, yeah, I can have this. I know I know this is for me. I know I can, I see how now. Okay. So now you get into desire. So what is the desire? The thing that costs money. Like the video, please share the video. What's the thing that you really desire? And in this, you want this is the beginning of creating a vortex for yourself. So right now, Where do you spend most of your time and attention online? Or just with looking at any kind of media, whether it's like TV, movies, Netflix, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Like, where do you, when you just like, right? What's your habit? Do you open up TikTok? For those of you on YouTube, you want to tell me in the chat, where do you go? Hi, Kimberly. Where do you go? Do you go to TikTok? Where do you go? Where do you, and then for those of you who have, where your phone tells you each week how much time you spent on social media. Does anybody here know how much time they spend on social media? Ah, that's a good one, honey. How much time are you spending on social media? Girl, that is sobering, okay? You're not guessing. You're not like, well, about an hour a week. You mess around and have that thing track you and realize you be 6 hours a week on social media. And then you be like, 24 hours a month of my life, I'm looking at maybe nothing, you know. Whatever. See, right now, the world is just full of, well, depends on what you're looking at, but you know how many worlds that you are living in simultaneously, and how much you have dominion over your own consciousness. But the purveying loudest voices, the purveying loudest consistent voices, nobody put in the chat where they're spending most of their time online. Y'all don't want to out yourselves. So the purveying loudest voices um are, I'm getting ready to wrap up because I gotta get to ready for Pilates or yoga. Are doom, are like fighting, you know, voting is tomorrow, local voting is tomorrow, and then right after that they're going to be getting ready for the 2024 election, so we're going to get bombarded with that news after tomorrow because it's all strategic. You know, there's, you know, propaganda of all sorts going on there. You know, there's war, gender wars. You know, there's, you know, the war of good and evil going on everywhere. There's, right there, right. And, you know, I love my mother. The other day she was like, my mom stays clued into the news. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news since my early 20s. And she was like, you know, this recession, because you know, they talking about recession all over the place. And she was like, and my mom is financially well, right? She was like, you know what I'm realizing? Because everything they're talking about, like what you need to be scared of and worried about it. Oh my God, you need to feel helpless about this and worried about this. And they telling you to stock up on this, do that, be scared of this, be scared of that, this is what is coming. The winter is coming, all that. And my mom was like, you know what I realized? And I was like, good job, mom, good job. Because I know how my mama mind be going. And she was like, they need to change the news to say the recession is coming for poor people and not for people who are well off. Because if you don't think and you know, don't learn how to separate what's true for you and control over your own mind, which is, I'm telling you this so you start to realize that this transformation of your money story comes from you having control over your own mind. Because if you make your decision about what's possible for you right now in your transformational business based on them telling you that we in a recession, based on this war, whatever war you want to point to, it's a circus, y'all. This shit is hilarious. I'm telling you, step back and it's hilarious. I was so glad to hear Ben Shapiro say this earlier today in a podcast. He was getting interviewed by Lex Freeman, which, by the way, go check out Lex Freeman's podcast. He's an AI guy who teaches at MIT, and his humanity is brilliant. He has amazing people on, and he had Ben Shapiro on, blah blah. And Ben Shapiro was like, this shit is really funny. Like this guy's a politician. He does this for a living, been at it for over a decade, 15 years, more. He's like, he's like, yeah, I do this, I say this, I do that. He's like, when you really step back and look at this shit, it's hilarious. He makes jokes of himself and others. My point is, if you don't learn to guard your mind, like I said, if you are consuming 10 hours of Instagram a day, Shit, an hour a day is too much. Okay, Facebook, you because you want to check out because you're just in the habit of scrolling because you have so much free time of well, and I need you to understand that that is running your show. It's running your show because remember, as within, so without. As within, so without. As within, so without. Okay. So you create this vortex of looking at what it is that you really want. Okay. And now this is where I will go further, but I'm not because time and like it really, this is something that would actually happen inside of a paid course. It's deep and nuanced, and this is where you would ask questions. This is where I would ask you questions, etc., etc. But I'll glaze over it, and you can intuit and do what you will with it. And relating to intimacy, right? Relating to, people asking you questions, relating to the intimacy of deciding what you're even going to talk about on video as a precursor to your services. Um, Relating intimately with what you're going to offer. Let's say you're going to do a free webinar, or right, and the intimacy involved in these processes, all these processes. Okay, every step that you're going to take in connecting with people because connection is currency. Okay, your content is a way to connect. Inviting people into your DMs to book a call is reaching out to people who like just going over all your social media posts, all the emails that you've gotten over the last 90 days where people have expressed interest in you reaching out to them, having a whole strategy around that, intimacy around that, and blocking out time to hit every single person who's reached out to you over the last 90 days, every single person who's liked any of your relevant content related to your services, reaching out to every single person who has DM'd you relating to your service, every single person who has EM'd you or emailed you related to your services, and reaching out to every one of them, the intimacy required, the question that you would even ask in that email, all of that. Okay. That the doing of that effectively starts with how you're feeling about yourself and thinking to yourself before you even take action on that. Okay. So if when you're alone in your bedroom, if when you're alone wasting time, we all do it, but right, you want to be mindful of how much time you're wasting on TikTok and Instagram. If you're looking at videos about the recession and how people ain't got money and how gas is about to be twice as much come March of 2023 and milk is doubling and the kids is committing suicide and black women is getting murdered by black men at an all-time high and you filled up with all of this stuff, right? Because you spending an hour a fucking day on TikTok, an hour a day on Instagram, you hour a day on Twitter. Oh my God, Ben Shapiro talked about Twitter in a way. At first I was like, girl, look, don't have me get the goal. Right? An hour a day, an hour, and then you think you're gonna go to sleep with all that and then get up and DM folks, get up and do a video and be bright on TikTok, do a post talking about helping women heal sexual trauma, helping single mothers recover from abusive relationships, helping mothers learn great self-care, helping marriages restore love and health, helping women who suffer with obesity, be healthy in their body. How effective do you think you're going to be doing these things when you're ruminating in dark, depressive, low energy content on social media? That's the intimacy that's required. That's the commitment that's required. So all of this that I'm talking about, it like has nothing to do with money, right? It's like seem like, well, what about my it has everything to do with it. Because how you are feeling, the intimacy with the way you move, because it's deliberate. You're reaching out to somebody, you putting up content, how you feel energetically in that, the energy that people get when they're looking at you on camera, right? Did you eat a bunch of sugar last night? And have you been doing it every night for the last 3 months? Right? Are you eating a bunch of salt all the time? And you see how deep and wide this is? It's deep and wide. It's not just this video. It's not even just my course. It's you doing all these things consistently over time, deliberately. And this is why I told you step one of this process is look at why you even want to do it to begin with. If it's something external to you, you're not going to last. If you made it this far in the video, it's a high likelihood that it's not something external to you. It's very personal. You have kids, your kids are watching you. You don't want to train them to be in scarcity consciousness. And scarcity consciousness does not just show up in money, it shows up in the man that you choose, it shows up in the quality of your life, it shows up in where you live, it shows up in whether you stay with that man or not, it shows up in what you, because kid parents think that they can somehow tell their kids one thing but they themselves do another, when anybody who's paying attention knows that your kids do not listen to what you say, they watch what you do. And as they get older and they're making decisions about their life, they're going to defer to what they saw their parents do. Well, what did my mom and dad do? You telling them, go live your dreams, think big, you can do anything. This planet is yours, you can take over, you can, all these things. But they saw you and mom live a simple life in the suburbs. They saw you and mom fight. They saw you and mom, and kids are intuitive as hell. Y'all see kids thinking you doing something wonderful when the kids know y'all don't like each other. The kids know you're just together for them. The kids know that they ain't into mommy like that. The mom, they know. So then they get to 20, 25, 30, and you're like, I taught you better. I told you better. No, you showed me something else. You showed me to be a woman who doesn't go after her dreams, who forsakes her dreams for her children, uses her children as the reason why she doesn't go after her dreams, right? Who stays normal, who gives herself excuses for why she doesn't do things, even if they're good excuses because they're socially acceptable, because the husband said this. You lived a normal, simple life in the suburbs, even if by worldly standards, it's a good life. You know, parents stay together for the kids in the suburbs, give them a safe community and raise them up with good morals through the school. Well, your kids gonna do the same thing. But you're telling them go live their dreams, go see the world, go find out who you are, go uncover, go learn new languages. You can have it all. Well, I hear what you're saying, but I saw you do something else. You know what I'm saying? And so coming into this intimacy with yourself, I just can't stress enough. I just can't. And I'm going to close with this because I got to go. Girl's cold. Girl, my swim buddy told me she got us a lane to swim. Girl, I will walk by while you swim a lane quick and I'm going inside because it's cold. Okay. I'm going to say this in closing. I'm a Black woman. Okay. Like the way I talk is so detailed and nuanced, and I want to make this quick, but it's way more than what I'm getting ready to say, and I want to make it succinct. Okay, um, so I started my journey strictly from a place of desire. When I published my first video, first 50 videos, first, right? I did not know the coaching industry existed. I didn't know such thing as a money story. I didn't know that you can make money online helping people. Like the video, share the video. I didn't know. All I had was this internal desire to, one, transform myself, and then to help other people transform. That's all I had, was that thing inside of me. It was completely personal. And when something is true for you inside, things start to show up in your world to help you take action on that, to develop that thing inside of you that's driving. And boom, I found out about coaching. I was in a community called Tribal Truth in San Francisco, and the leader of that community sent us a link to a woman online. Her name is Katie Freiling, redhead freckle chick in San Diego, who had a video series. This was in 2011. Now, keep in mind, I don't know about coaching at the time. I don't know that you can make money online. This is 2011. So this is 11 years ago. Okay. I know today coaching is a big thing. Everybody does it. It's like nothing now. It's a big, right? It's not new. Right? This is new to me at the time. And all I did was follow desire. Like, I want to help people. And I see this girl helping people. And then she offers this thing that's $997 for us to buy it. And I'm like, and her program was called Cash In on You. So she was teaching folks how to cash in on themselves, like how to be them, develop themselves, develop their confidence, their courage on video, their inner world, so then they can then come out on the internet and make money the way she's making money. Now, my mind is blown the first time that I see this. I'm like, what? Right? I didn't think, was she a white girl? She could do that. There was no race. There was nothing in me that was like, I can't do that. Now, yeah, I felt fear. Yeah, I felt like, oh my God. Yeah, I felt nauseous. But I was like, this is for me. Now, for you, when it comes to this, you having money, if you've never made money, or bigger money in your coaching business, is that a true desire for you? Is it genuine? Then what has prohibited you up until this far? Now, I'm saying this part I'm getting ready to say, because everything I've just said up till now for this video is for anybody who's looking to transform their relationship with money. Right now, I want to talk specifically to Black women. Okay. This has been a journey. This is like 11 years I've been in the transformation space. I came in, I bought that program from Katie Freiling, $997. I completed that program. I implemented what she taught in that program. There were close to no Black program. I noticed, but keep it moving, right? Then I start networking more in the Bay Area. I'm meeting more people. I'm not seeing a lot of Black women. I'm noticing, but I keep it moving, right? Because I have my personal desire to grow, to develop, to make money. I hire another coach. We're doing more like inner stuff, inner game to be successful in business. Now, I'm continuing to be in tribal truth. There's one other, maybe two other Black women in that community. Most of the women there are white women, right? I continue to network. And then it gets to the point where I'm networking, I'm around, by this time it's like end of 2012, right? Because I started really getting active in like socially, like networking in person. It's crazy, right? How much the internet, it was around, but it wasn't hardly what it is now. But going to in-person networking events, it's been over a year now, and I'm like, where are the Black women? What's going on, right? So I start asking more now. Before I just was noticing, keep it moving. Now I'm starting to ask people, like, where are the Black women? Now by this time, I'm making money, but I'm still struggling, right? Feast or famine. I'm in my feast or famine phase. I'm making money, but I'm still struggling. So then now I'm going to fast forward from end of 2012 to 2014. So by early 2014, this is me now. I've come up out of the depression that I was in for much of 2013. I have decided, one, that I'm a master sex shame healer, and two, that I have made service and money equally important. Those are two of the biggest things for me in that deep, dark depression that I was in 2013. One, that I was going to have money and making money, serving people be equally important. Because prior to that, I was all about helping, serving, being a good person. But because of that unconscious money stuff I was saying about. So boom, money and service equally important. Two, boom, I am now a master sex shame healer. Now, boom, I start climbing quick. I start climbing in the money domain. I signed up for my first high level program. Now I had been in program, I'd hired coaches. I told you I was in Katie's program. I bought little workshops here, little cheap little things here and there, like so many of us do. And I bought my first $30,000 coaching program. There's two Black women in there. Now this was a high level program. We were at like 5-star retreats. We were had direct access to get on the phone with our coach, who was multiple 7 figures. Everybody in the room was minimum 6 figures. We all paid $30,000 to be there. This is a big high level, my first high level program, right? Same thing. There's only two black women in there. One is American from Chicago. The other one is Jamaican. Right. I'm happy they there. I'm like, oh, good. Yeah. Right. Then I go into a $50,000 program. I'm the only black woman in this program. This is in Paris. The coach is in Paris. Everybody who's there is European. Now I'm starting to go to everything I go to is higher level. Every workshop I go to is higher level. Everything I go to, all my friends got money because now I'm making friends at all these workshops, all these high level masterminds. We become friends. We're doing collaborations together. We're doing events together. We're doing live streams together. We're doing programs together. We're doing all these things together. And now I've elevated, and now my whole network, everywhere I go now, I'm seeing no people of color. Now, everything I did to do there is not race specific. Okay. Everything I did to get there, anybody who decides they want to do it can do it because you're working with the mind. And now, 2022, the secret. I mean, listen, there are specific secrets that oftentimes you can even pick up. Now, this is some wild, this could be considered wild. But when you really start to tinker with your mind, you start being able to pick up secrets intuitively. That's advanced than a motherfucker. So I'm not okay. So I'm just putting that out there. Say like when people with the secrets, they got secrets. Some secrets, yes, you do pay for to get access to, but god damn it, most people, even if they got the secret, they gonna sit on a motherfucker. They're not gonna be able to hear it. They're not gonna be able to interpret it. They're not gonna be able to use it because they're not even at the frequency to really absorb and be with the frequency of the secret to even make it manifest in their lives. So even if you got and your grandmother left you $100,000 and you found out about a $30,000 mastermind and you call yourself being slick by paying the $30,000 to get inside of the mastermind, you wouldn't last in there anyway because the frequency would be so fucking off. Okay. So my point is everything I did to get up in these higher circles where now you're with people who are doing $10 million a month. You're around people who literally money ain't a thing. Like they not doing this for money now. Now they doing this because their business gives shit $1 million a month to this fucking charity in Thailand. Their business fucking funds 5 other businesses, because right there is a whole other level of play. Now, why are black people not here? What's going on? One, this is why I said in the beginning of this video, humble your fucking ego. Listen, I can be compassionate and talk about why we are scared the way we are, why we mistrust the way we do, why we separate the way we do, why we do the way we do. And at the end of the day, you can do whatever the hell you want to. And at the end of the day, whose life is it? Can you transform in the environment? Working with a coach, being in a mastermind, being at retreats, these are all environments that are created for you to transform in. You're inside of even let's just say, a simple coaching program online where you are meeting with people from all over the world once a week, where you guys meet inside of a Facebook group or you meet on one of the private platforms where everybody is paying $500 a month or $250 a month to be there. You guys meet with a coach once a week to look at what your top 5 goals are for the next 6 months. And you are tracking what you did in the previous week to get there. And you are hearing a woman in Portugal talk about something that she struggled with for the week. And this is how she transformed it. You're hearing a woman in New Mexico talk about something that she has struggled with for the last 7 years of her life, and that a conversation she had with another member in the community yesterday helped her break through. You're that information you're hearing is helping you process something that you've been struggling with for the last year. And then you've been reading this book that somebody told you about, and boom, you have a breakthrough. Because you have that breakthrough, you then show up to do your video on TikTok as a different kind of woman. And in that frequency, you start attracting people who've been watching you for a little bit, but they ain't been feeling you. But on this particular day, because you showed up in this frequency that you've been able to cultivate, because you're in this environment, in this coaching program, reading this book, now there's a frequency that they feeling you. Now, for the first time, you getting DMs that you ain't been getting for the last 6 months. And now you have the confidence to get on the phone with this person, and they become your first paying $500 client. And it all started because you was in an environment where you invested money with people who didn't look like you, because the coach is getting results. She don't look like you, and you walk through your ego, you walk through your fear to be in an environment that supports you for financial abundance. That's how this works. And when I started to research, why are there not more Black women in here? This is not for whites only. This is not exclusive to certain people. Well, it's to people who are thinking like this and who are really going for their goals. That's what it's for. But what's stopping folks from coming in here? And I'm telling you, baby, this is a deeper conversation to get into. It's a deeper conversation to get into. And with all the change and transformation going on around the world, uh, until Black people do what the fuck they supposed to do energetically, uh, accept the transmission that their melanin conducts, okay, uh, that transforms their mind and gets down to the core of their mind, okay. Um, Learn how to efficiently navigate psychosis, okay, and get into environments where you have a chance to go crazy, lose your mind, submit your ego, lose your sense of self, and you are held in love and truth, and the frequency allows that space. I don't give a. I already know. I already know. I already know. It is time for us to go mad effectively. It is time for us to be in environments where all of the conversations, all of that shit, park that shit at the door, bitch. All your conversations about masculine and feminine, all your conversations about feminism, all your conversation about modern times, all your conversations about slavery, all your conversations about history, like all of them conversations is redundant, circuitous. They're all pit holes that have all this validity. Oh, it's valid. Well, it did happen. Well, that's happening because it's in our programming. Baby, see that this is where the fucking discord is. Discord, because we so hooked into all of these conversations about history and post-traumatic slave syndrome. And see, because the masculine and the feminine, see, because what feminism did, because what crack did, see, because what welfare did, because we can get lost in them damn conversations for the next decade. We can write a bunch of papers and theses. We can write articles. We can do videos. We can have retreats about it. We can have big conferences around the world about it and talk about it and go in circles and talk about, well, maybe we should do this and this can help. Well, they did that. Well, the nation did this, and the Huey did this, and men did this, and the Egyptians did this, and they did that. And we can go in circles. And that would just be another circle of illusion. That would just be another cycle that would give the appearance of progress. This is what I mean by how fucking advanced we are and a higher, deeper game to be played here. This is why humbling of an ego, where we don't give a fuck about winning. We don't give a fuck about losing. We don't give a fuck about all of the things that make clout and all of that. Dead out the window. Don't give a fuck. You know what we care a fuck about? Transfer fucking mation. Transformation at core levels and get down into the depths of what it's like to be a being walking around in a high frequency body. High frequency mind that's disconnected from all the loops of being in a human body. Otherwise, you're gonna be all over the place talking about this and feminism and all. You can have it, take it, go do all your psychological processing around it. Meet me in the world of transformation. Meet me in the world of depth. Meet me in the world of responding intuitively to what the fuck is going on, devoid of what I'm told to think about. There is a whole other game to play. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. Tay, thank you. And the umbrella, right? Crescent. Here's the top. Love. And underneath is transformation. Underneath is depth. Underneath is truly being natural. Natural. A lot of the things that we're calling natural today is not natural. Divine order. If you left humans alone and didn't tell them what to do, what would they do? When you are purified, okay, meaning you are willing to touch the land of meaninglessness. This is super advanced. You're willing to touch the land of meaninglessness. Meaninglessness. And you're not thinking in a way of what you're supposed to do. Well, the Bible said this, and this is myth masculine. It, sort of like you take any city in the world that's been built up and you leave it alone for 50 years. Don't touch it. Don't manicure the trees. Don't clean the buildings. Man doesn't go walk down the street. There's no restaurants. And you come back in 50 years. What does that look like? That is natural. That's natural. Similarly, you take a human being and you strip them of all the ideology they've been told of how to be. Strip a human of everything they've been told to be. Right and wrong, and you're meant to be like this, and you're meant to live like this, and this is what's right, and this is what works, and this is what means failure, and you just let humans be what we would do. That is natural. So most of us don't want that, but I just want to put that out there. Don't argue with me. Argue with your motherfucking self. Okay. Argue with the arguments that you have with yourself about what directions to take in life. What's natural? If you didn't have these concerns about consequence of, ooh, if I do that, what would you do? If money wasn't an issue, if your fear about whatever wasn't an issue, what would you do? That's natural. My niece pulling my hair today because I didn't let her have what she wanted. That's natural. Okay. I said, look at this human nature. This is what humans do before they get programmed to be nice. This is what humans do before they get told how to be. So I'm just saying, okay, no, we don't want to be going around pulling motherfuckers' hair because we don't get our way. But I'm saying, if we're going to have a conversation about what's natural, let's make sure we are being clear about what's natural and how much of this is actually ideology that we're calling divine order. Get the fuck out of my look. You going okay? This is ideology. This is not divine order. Okay. So thank you so much.